They're either drug users or crazy.
I think they're often kind of an invisible crowd on the streets. People see them, they're like, oh, why are those kids in school? Or, you know, what's going on there as far as they're just making trouble, things like that.
They're dirty, they smell, they don't know how to get a job, they need to get a job.
A lot of people think that homeless people have been in jail a lot, or are drug users, or drink alcohol, and you know, so to some extent that's true, but it's not everybody.
It's change. This person wants my money. Drugs are instantly brought to somebody's mind when they see somebody that's homeless.
Yeah, for sure.
And if they ask them for change, it's like, oh, they just want it to go get high or go get drugs. Which some of them do, but the people that don't.
I do see a lot of shopping carts. That's a stereotype. I see a lot of folks carrying their stuff around in shopping carts.
Be panhandling or something, or they'll see a youth on the street and say they're homeless. They have a cell phone. How does a youth, like, if they're homeless, how do they have a cell phone?
It's their fault. They're just not working hard enough. Why aren't they utilizing the system? They need to get off the streets.
You know, I think it goes back to kind of the thing like, oh, the troublemakers, they are addicted to something. I guess my perspective on it was, you know, you'd be driving down the street or walking down the street and you'd see someone panhandling. And I think many people would ask themselves, well, why don't they just get a job? And I probably, like, I can remember just asking myself that, you know, a few times before I worked here. And then when I started working here, you start realizing some of the barriers you'd have, or just homeless people in general, but in particular youth. Say in particular, we have one youth that gets kicked out of their house. They don't have their birth certificate, they don't have an ID, they don't have anything to say who they are. So if they're arrested, people don't know who they are except for what they say. If they try to get a job, you usually need 2 forms of identification to work anywhere. So that right there is a huge barrier for a lot of our youth. And so I guess before I worked here, it was really I was kind of blinded to some of those things.
I think the greatest stereotype is that the homeless are dirty and they don't care. And that is so not true. The first thing people do is they want to come in, they want to take a shower, they want some clean clothes. They want some self-pride. They don't want to feel dirty. I think the other one is that most homeless people are drunk and are drug addicts. And that's a very small minority. And they respect our setting here, so even if they do choose to do those activities elsewhere, they won't come in here.
Our job readiness skills are truly developed in preschool. So at the age of 4, that's where our soft skills are developed. That's the ability to communicate, our ability to set goals, our ability to succeed in the workplace is developed at 4 years old. So if we look at our repeat clients, what they were doing at 4 years old is not what I assume what we were doing at 4 years old. It's something very different. They were probably going through some traumatic experience, some sexual abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, probably neglect, abandonment, all that stuff that I can't even fathom. A lot of our youth are kind of, there's almost a similarity between drug addicts and being sexually abused, because that experience doesn't really go away. You know, if you use drugs continually and you're a drug addict, that doesn't go away. Once an addict, always an addict. And you're just dealing with it. And that's kind of how a lot of our youth are. They're dealing with, or trying to deal with what they've gone through in their lives.
They're just normal, everyday people like you'd meet on the street. Somebody from Arkansas, somebody from lived in Colorado their whole life, some guys from Kenya. You know?
every guest is different. I've run into two people. One was a teacher in my school district, one was a teacher I worked with who had checked in. I've had past students come in as guests here, and everywhere in between. Lots of college graduates looking for work, lots of very educated people who are angry because they should be employed and they're not. A very, very compassionate population that looks after each other.
There's still people, and like a lot of them definitely aren't just trying to get drunk off Listerine.
We get a lot of veterans. Just talking with some veterans in the showers, that's really hard sometimes. You get guys come in, they're ex-Marines. It's like, well, you served in Vietnam, why are you homeless? I mean, that doesn't work with the government, you know?
A lot of these kids are having to grow up at the age of 10 and 12.
They're human beings just like anyone else.
I actually led my baseball team to the championship game, but we lost in 9th grade. I like hip-hop a lot. Back when the spot was a music studio, I used to go in there. It used to be like a music studio.
Did you record music, or?
I used to make beats. Well, I had a problem with alcohol for a while there, but I overcome that. I'm 3 months sober now.
I enjoy being with family and friends, you know, spending quality time, just, you know, I think my biggest difficulty is being shot. I had to overcome that, you know, gotta rehabilitate myself. I think some people think if they haven't been in the situation I've been in, I think they like to degrade and put down and think they're better than everybody else. It's annoying. It took me, because I used to be homeless, I used to sleep in the streets. They gave me a place to sleep, they've given me food, they've given me education, they've given me something to actually move on with my life, like hope, I guess.
That's interesting. I love to read. I also like to play basketball. I like working out. I love to cook. I have so many hobbies. I want to become a nurse assistant. So they gave me education, which I didn't take last year. They gave me shelter, food. I qualified for their housing programs. And I'm living in their housing programs, so very cool. It changed my life a lot. If you really stick to it, real life, real change is actually true with me. Because the only thing I have left with the Urban Peak is the GED. That's it. I complete the whole program. Middle school, got picked on. High school, same thing, didn't go to class, didn't learn anything. So then I dropped out of high school to get a job. But I realized I have to go back to high school to get a job. So that's why I came back here when I'm 20.
Hopefully to get my GED and go to college. After college, get a house, get a nice car. Just, you know, the necessities life has to offer.
To finish my GED, which I have one test is that is my math. Sweet. I would like to become a massage therapist or something in, like, you know, massage therapist or something that helps people out, you know, like child care services, something like that, because I used to be in child care services myself.
Okay, very cool. It's like social work?
Yeah.
So, like, their title, Real Life, Real Change, absolutely true. It really depends on the person, though. If they don't want to change, it's not going to happen, you know? Yeah. So, that's why I came back here when I'm 20. I ended up becoming homeless in 2010, losing that job that I quit school for. And I just got so frustrated with myself, you know, for doing something so stupid like that. But I'm here now.
A very intelligent person. I find life is a marvelous thing, is an extraordinary thing, period.
I am unique, funny, smart, good listener.
I am a determined GED classmate.
I am love, light, and happiness. And I'm aware that there are negative things, but I choose to stay high.
I am human. I feel like I am, so to speak. Are you ready?
I am an artist.
I am broke. How about that?
Just beginning life and looking where to go.
An naturopath doctor.
I am everything.
Happy?
I'm a traveler.
Great. I'm strong. I'm independent. Free.
I am who I am.
I'm a musical artist who kind of gets on the nerves of like people that have enormous amounts of power.
I am just a human being.
People are people wherever you go, and it's that human factor you're talking about. That everybody has it.
I think there are lots of ways. I think, for me, I think one of the most important things is advocating for the youth, wherever you are, whether it be, you know, if you can hand over $1, you can hand over a granola bar. I think that's a big part, but I also feel like that's just like half of it. The other half is really trying to, you know, volunteer. I think personal relationships are just great. I mean, it really does a lot for people that are on the street, you know, like just seeing people that are willing to help. I think it helps inspire a little more hope.
I think the best thing to do is come on down, break the stereotype. Or if you can't come down here, look somebody in the eye when you don't give them $1 and they're panhandling, but just say, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I hope things go well for you. You know, acknowledge the humanness of every individual. The homeless person is much more apparent to the general public than the wife beater, the child abuser, the much more serious criminals. But they can disguise themselves in business suits.
You just gotta do it. You know, talking about it is one thing, but actually going and doing it is another. Really getting out there and doing stuff and creating action and making waves and being an awesome citizen.
At St. Francis, we need a lot of like clothing. Just some of the guys, you hear them talk about, well, you can be homeless, but you don't have to look homeless, and it's true. A lot of the folks who are homeless are able to take the showers and put on clean clothes, and they look, you know, nicer than we do, maybe. So yeah, and having clothes that maybe you can go out and do a job in.
The bottom line is if you give them time to talk and are a focused listener, it will usually help lots of things. So,
you don't have to give your life away, but if everybody did one little thing, it'd be a lot simpler than 5 people giving millions of dollars.
I feel like any capable human being of serving should serve.
I wish they would give me a chance. Like, you know how the first impression really counts? I always mess up first impressions. It's like my nature. I want them to view me as a person. You know, I'm here too. I exist.
I just wish they would take time to actually know who I am and listen to what I have to offer and not be judgmental. Just that's really what I want. I don't care if they want to know me. Just, you know,
That they don't judge you.
Yeah, don't judge me. Don't judge a book by its cover.
As I'm walking to class, I can't help but think of all the bullshit the school's tried to sink into my brain. They just want me insane. No individuality, just go with the grain. And now originality is looking the same. Our focus remains on material things instead of on the word that nowadays I would say is mostly unheard. The power game the system plays is half the reason that we're deaf. If truth is on the right, society's on the left. Now, these are the thoughts of an ordinary kid getting ordinary grades, just wishing that I did something different on my average day to help correct this government's way of containing and taming and naming all of us. Stereotyping is not a fucking must. I'm hairy as striking every time I bust, but I'm only 18, so I can't do much. Give you my raps as a guide or a crutch I try to touch. All souls with my music, flowing messages and hope y'all use it. An ordinary kid and truth, I fused it.